And we should be live. Okay, so first things first, I got to grab the stream link, and then I've got to send out the community post, then we'll get started. I'm planning on this being a short stream. We might not even get to the Disney adult cringe, but because I don't want to stream for more than like half an hour, but you know, should be fine. For more than like, here you go. Let me get the stream link, slap it in there, and sent out the community post. I'm doing another sexy non-marine from Hololive because we're talking about more Christians today. That's gonna be the bulk of the stream. Is talking about this anti-Christian, well, this anti-anime Christian channel I found. Anime Exposed Free I've already watched a good amount of this. We probably won't go past like 20 minutes because this is part 1 of 4 of a documentary series. So this is kind of crazy. They're selling this whole documentary for $30 US. It's crazy. So I'm planning on making this my next video, talking about this and the dark origins of Nintendo. And then we've also got this VTuber who cucked her husband, and then maybe the Disney adult cringe if there's time. But, you know, let's just get started. There's a new Ghost in the Shell trailer. I guess this is like a remake or a new series or something. I'm not a big Ghost in the Shell fan. I watched the movie a while back, and it was alright. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the thing that you gotta watch. Definitely the kind of thing you gotta watch more than once. So, who knows? Maybe we'll do like a watch along or something. But let's just check this out. You know, we watched the terrible Star Fox trailer last time, so hopefully this one's better. Anyway, let's see here.
では教えよう。こいつは電脳犯罪史上最もユニークと評されたハッカー。
I'll say this, I do like the art style.
人形使いだ。
公安休暇、首相直属で圧力の効かない組織です。
公安休暇の広角機動隊とか名乗ってて。心理学者に言わせれば情報過密時代における心の空洞化だとか。
女性の名前は草薙素子。公安休暇の対テロ要員との情報が入っています。
I mean, looks pretty cool. I've heard that the Ghost in the Shell manga was a lot less serious than the movie. And definitely seems to be in line with that kind of tone. I mean, it looks pretty fun. You know, I realized after I started, hopefully I don't get copyright struck or something for playing the trailer. I mean, come on. But I mean, who fucking knows, whatever. Too late now, right? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Oh man, did the original voice actress die? That's a shame. 90s animation. I do like the art style. I'll say that much. Anyways, though, so this is our first major story for today. I have a husband and a boyfriend. Eggy, anti-idol. I never heard of this chick in my life. VTubing is fucking so screwed these days, guys. Like, no joke. Like, come on. And, look, this model is so... You know, you can tell. I hate this, like, Tumblr-ass art style that, like, anime has. Like, you can tell this shit was made by some Tumblr refugee. It just has that art style, you know? Like, fuck. But whatever. Let's get started. I don't... fuck, whatever.
Recently, I had a video on here go viral about my relationship with my husband and my boyfriend. Yes, you heard me right. My husband and my boyfriend. I am polyamorous. I have 2 partners. I have a husband. I have a boyfriend. For some
And she says this so flippantly. Things are so fucked, man. I mean, come on. Have some fucking shame.
reason, this became a huge point of controversy.
Oh, it became a huge point of controversy for some reason. How the fuck... I know self-awareness isn't women's strong suit, but fucking come on. Like, imagine you go up to, like, a guy, or whatever. Like, whatever. Let's just keep going.
Because nobody's ever heard of a polyamorous relationship before, and I got like a fuck ton of hate for no reason. It was...
Oh no, we've heard about it, okay? We have heard too much about it, in fact.
It's pretty fucking strange.
It was pretty fucking... Holy shit, it's literally every sentence, it's something retarded. Oh, you don't like how I openly cheat on my husband? Oh, that's a little strange. You're like kind of weird. You're like a weirdo. Fuck. Look, and I don't know, who knows? And then, by the way, when you get something like the Saikuno situation, all these women get thrown into a tizzy because he has side chicks. All right, and then meanwhile, this girl openly cheats on her husband, and she's like, "There's nothing wrong with that."
And I didn't want to make a statement on it at the time because I just didn't want to deal with the smoke, and I was going through a bunch of health issues. But now that it's kind of
STDs, right?
settled a little bit, I just wanted to say, what the fuck are you guys doing? Is everyone okay?
Girl, are you okay? You enter into holy matrimony, and then you just decide to, like, fuck. My god, have some shame. These people discuss the fuck. No kidding. I'll say this much, I have more respect for, like, the cucks who get off on it, because at least, they're kind of more honest about it, right? Meanwhile, these people, like, try and LARP like this is normal. Give me a fucking break.
Like, y'all need to go touch grass, seriously. You are upset about someone's relationship to the point that you are harassing them on other platforms because they are polyamorous. You need to get educated.
Get educated. I don't know, man. I mean, the divorce rates for these non-monogamous marriages aren't exactly great.
You need to be more open-minded, and you need to touch some grass.
You need to touch grass. Fuck. Rich hearing that from a VTuber, this is like the Rev shit all over again. Okay? Like I said, yeah, I don't dislike Rev. I mean, I don't like his, recent heel turn, but he would always say this shit, go touch grass, bro. Your entire job is covering Twitter drama.
Okay? Because the only one who looks like a clown here is you, and it just looks like you're jealous that I get more ass than you do.
Oh my god! Bro, sorry. I'm not jealous that, you've had an entire sausage factory inside that snatch girl.
So, I don't know. It makes you look like the clown, not me. So, I don't know.
Oh,
anyways, for clarification, everyone is very happy in the relationship.
I'm sure. I'm sure you're very happy.
I'm very happy. My husband's very happy. My boyfriend's very happy.
Oh my god.
Nobody is locked into this.
Fuck.
Everyone is able to explore their sexuality and date who they wish as long as they pass it by.
The funniest part, she says that, you see, whenever you look at these open relationship stories, a very common ending is that the guy gets kind of roped into it, and then he ends up finding a girl who's way better than the wife, and then leaves the wife for the new girl. Alright, like, Strong Successful Male covers some of these stories sometimes, and that actually does happen quite a bit. So I guarantee if her husband found a new girl that he was getting serious with, she would be like, oh, I think we should close this up again. And, she would have a meltdown, I guarantee it.
Everyone else, and everyone's chill. So nobody's trapped into anything. Not that it's anyone's business, but everyone is consenting. So
I don't know, maybe someone should have withheld consent.
Get over yourself. and have a lovely and wonderful day. That's all I have to say to you. I hope you step on some Legos, everyone who was shitty to me, but everyone else have a lovely and wonderful day, and I wish you guys the best.
You know, and the wife gets pissed, yeah. You know, it would be one thing if, you know, they just did this and it was like, you know, secret or whatever, but to demand that other people have to accept this degenerate lifestyle, it's insanity, all right? And I mean, look, let's not even talk about, like, if kids get involved. I mean, hopefully they don't have children, but if they do, then my God, that's a lot worse. Anyways, people, of course, rightfully tearing into her. Starting to get some real gem comments. I don't have the energy for stupidity. Fuck. My God. Women brags about two-timing and is bewildered when she gets called out for it. I just want to point out you can just not get married. Instead of going through hoops to change marriage, you could just not get married. It's mainly for financial and legal reasons, but also just wanted to. Fuck. Married for financial this is very telling. Married for financial reasons. People gave you flat because you forced the poly relationship on your husband. You guys weren't poly when you married. You became poly when you found someone else. At this point, your husband had only two choices, accept or divorce. I saw this exact playbook so many times, and that's often how it is. You know, guys get roped into this because, you know, especially nowadays with how fucked up dating is, if a guy gets a girl, like, he's likely gonna freaking hold on to her with a vice grip, all right? So then, you know, the only woman that he was ever able to get, you know, she's like, open up the relationship. You know, he's basically coerced, right? Because he doesn't really have the balls to, you know, and, you know, from a as a man, you know, getting divorced is like financial suicide too, depending on how bad it is. I mean, I don't know, how many fucking, like, I doubt this chick is very big. You know, I'm sure he's still making most of the money, you know? That's literally not what happened, but it's great to hear your narrative about my life. Please tell me more about the experiences I've lived. Please, Lama. In the previous video, you said that your relationship didn't start as poly. It only became poly when you fell in love with the boyfriend. If your husband had said no, you'd have been left hurt and denied of your feelings. Can you truly say he didn't say yes just to keep you? And he's got the clip here, so let's go through this one.
I started dating a chatter, and we're madly in love now. Here's the story about how I met my boyfriend, Fabled. I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy XIV, as a lot of you guys know, and we were going through our dailies on stream with chat. In comes the Fabled Storyteller, a mysterious chatter who I had seen in a mutual stream previously a couple of times.
You know, and women always do this shit where they, like, I don't know, maybe not always, but they always describe this shit like it's a fucking romance novel.
He asked if we needed a tank. I said yes, and he joined what ended up being one of the most fun streams I had ever had. We vibed on such a fundamental and visceral level, and after a nice adult conversation with my husband, into poly life I was thrown, and now I'm stuck with a literal skeleton.
Okay, so, fuck. After an adult conversation, you know, all consensual, no coercion at all. You know, it's not like he would have been fucking thrown out onto the street, half his money, half his stuff gone if he disagreed, right?
In my closet. Almost a year into this insane journey though, and I wouldn't have done anything differently. So I'm definitely not saying to date your chatters, but I am saying that it happened to work out for me. Speaking of us, if you want to see us shitpost together, be sure to check us out on Twitch on my stream around 4 p.m. EST and join Discord at discord.gg/suckegg because we're both always around. And
holy shit. Into the poly lifestyle I was thrown. No, your husband was thrown into this. You did the throwing. You jumped in with gusto. Man, fuck. Now it's all coming together. We didn't start as poly and became married. Yeah, you married, locked him, and then forced him into it. Oh, but he said yes. Interesting choice of words. Funny, you know how he felt in the moment. He saw his love life flash before his eyes when you confronted him with the ultimatum. Why doesn't he have multiple partners, by the way? You kindly left that part out. Fuck. But yeah, she's getting completely grilled for this, rightfully so. My God. But still, VTubing is so fucked up, man. Like, you know, I remember the good old days back when, like, the only big EN VTubers were the HoloLive girls, you know? But now it's literally every fucking thought on the block is out here with a VTuber model trying to vacuum up simp box. It's just, it's disgraceful, man. And look, this polyamory shit's insane. I know for a while they had, like, a push to try and normalize this shit. And they're still kind of doing it, you know? Like, obviously she got the idea from somewhere. Fuck. Man. Still, though. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. Fuck. My God. Anyways, we're gonna get to the real meat now. How long have I been streaming? Only 15 minutes. So, this is from a channel called Little Light Studios. I forget who recommended this to me. Someone in the comments tipped me off. But it's basically like that Piercing Heaven guy on steroids. According to them, everything is satanic. Okay, everything's demonic. Alright, let's go by most popular. Satan's Endgame, Dark Secrets of Marvel exposed. Baal worship in the music industry. Peter Pan's Dark Origins, a place your child's eyes should never land. Is this just the original Peter Pan too? What else do we got? Christians practice, what the hell? So, I mean, you can get an idea of the kind of stuff in here. But yeah, here's what we're talking about. Anime exposed. So, this is especially crazy, and this is from an actual documentary, which is $30 US for all 4 parts. So they're literally, you know, it costs money to consume this content. By the way, they have 250,000 subscribers, all right? So this isn't even just some rando. And they are getting grilled in the comments, though, you know, rightfully so. But they also have 4,000 likes, which is pretty decent for a video with 120,000 views. But anyways, we'll just start it. Yeah, one on Has-Been Hotel, probably. Look, they've covered a lot of shit. And I mean, look, maybe some of it's justified. I mean, Lady Gaga being satanic, I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised. But if we're talking about anime, and this one's about Nintendo, it's just completely unfounded. And I'm planning on making... I've already seen some of this, and I'm planning on making a video about it. But I figured I'd go over it on stream. Anyway, let's just get into it.
Hello, I'm Scotty.
And I'm Mikey.
And we're some of the producers of this anime documentary, and we wanted to share with you a warning with this project.
Yeah, over the years, this is the most recommended topic we've got. Everybody wants us to expose anime, so we started doing some digging, and man, the stuff is dark.
So if you don't really have a problem or you've never been exposed to anime...
So keep this in mind. They made this documentary specifically to tear into anime, alright? So they already went into it, you know, with the wrong intentions, with their own preconceived notions.
This might be a project that you should prayerfully consider whether or not you should or should not watch it. But if you know somebody that's really into this topic, then please share our video with them, as we feel like this is a very important topic to explore.
Yes, so you have been warned. With that said, enjoy the show.
They have this whole intro, but I'm just gonna skip over this because, you know, who really cares?
Is that anime in the kids section?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? There's a ton of it on Netflix now.
I know, it's time.
Kids section?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh, this is how it starts. They have like 5 kids, which, by the way, 5 people is way too many to have in the first scene, I think. But they have this terrible anime art style and talking about bullshit. You're gonna hear some of the worst banter in existence.
Crazy? There's a ton of it on Netflix now.
I know, it's time to do a project on it. Mikey and I went to a local convention called Kanuga, and I was shocked at how many people are into it.
Yeah, it's crazy just how many people have been asking us to cover it.
I remember watching some as a kid, and now I realize how much of that stuff was going completely over my mind. There's so many reasons why I question it now.
I didn't watch anime, but I read some of the manga comics. I know a few things about some of the mainstream ones.
It's shocking how much spiritual imagery is used in these shows and movies.
Anime has an...
It's shocking. I mean, also look at these. Look at these t-shirts. We got Jesus, Little Light Studios, LED Live, which is their podcast, I think. And then they have a Little Light Studios poster on the wall and an LED Live poster. It looks like they printed it out on printing paper. The set, and also the opening shot was of a Japanese house, and now they're obviously in, you know, like some suburban American neighborhood.
Undeniable influence over pop culture.
Honestly, some of it is so strange. It's hard to even grasp how something like this can gain so much popularity.
Do you know where it all started?
Wait, I think this was in like 2019. So this was 2021, so I guess this was like just after the COVID boom.
In 1963, a little black and white cartoon called Astro Boy premiered in Japan. Within 8 months, NBC began showing the English version in the US. The creator Tezuka was very influenced by Western culture, and his father believed that Japan's future prosperity lay in partnership with the US, and raised his son on American imagery. There's constantly Westerners appearing as peaceful scientist collaborators.
Returned from the United States, the new minister will meet the press for the first time.
That's the future he imagined. From the very beginning, he designed these cartoons to be exported, which is why we see so many Americans in the cartoon.
So, this is an insane leap in logic. I don't think they outright say it, but they're basically implying that anime is made for a global audience because Astro Boy from the 60s was made for a global audience, which is true, by the way, but it's such an insane leap in logic. And this is one of the things that this channel does a lot. They have these crazy leaps in logic that are just difficult to even fathom.
The other anime series were loved after that, such as Gigantor and Speed Racer, but in the
Anyway, so fun fact about Speed Racer. One time I asked my dad what his favorite cartoon was, and he said Speed Racer. So, I mean, I guess the weebness runs in the blood or something.
90s, anime blew up in American pop culture.
Speed Racer? Never heard that one.
Weird how that's the one she hasn't heard of, considering it got an American film adaptation.
Here comes Speed Racer, he's a demon on wheels.
It's crazy how fast anime gained popularity in the US. In 2002, Boston was one of the first cities to hold a convention, and they only expected,
you know, it's weird, but
500 attendees, but 2,000 showed up. Today,
they're like, oh, it's crazy how fast anime gained popularity in the West. I would agree if they said like late 2010s, early 2020s. But no, 2002, when anime was still very niche.
Los Angeles hosts the annual Anime Expo with 100,000 plus attending.
I remember in 2003, Disney's Spirited Away won an Academy.
Yeah, Disney's Spirited Away, by the way. Not Ghibli's or Miyazaki's, Disney's
Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. In the last 2 decades, imported anime series such as Pokemon, Sailor Moon, and Dragon Ball Z developed huge US audiences.
Tons of movies have robbed their ideas from animes. Did you guys ever see The Matrix?
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
What'd I miss?
Well, you didn't miss much. It pretty much went downhill after the first one.
Oh, wait, there's more than one?
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it, but it drew heavily from the style of manga and even released its own animated
manga
series called The Animatrix. Everyone thought The Matrix was so original, but it pretty much was a direct ripoff of an anime called Ghost in the Shell.
Okay, this is another insane leap. You know, they very liberally use the term ripoff to refer to anything that was just inspired by something else. Like Ghost in the Shell and The Matrix, I mean, there's some overlap, I guess. But, you know, they have completely different premises, you know, and even, you know, very different settings, too. So you really can't say that, you know, Matrix is a ripoff of it.
And Ghost in the Shell was made into a movie.
Quentin Tarantino had an entire anime scene illustrating a character's backstory in the first Kill Bill movie.
you guys ever watched The Lion King? Did you know that was also a direct ripoff of the Japanese animation titled Kimba the White Lion?
Yeah, so they're saying Lion King is a ripoff of Kimba the White Lion.
despite its claim of originality?
No!
Tonight, we're proud to present the most successful film in the history of the Walt Disney Studios in its television network debut, The Lion King. Hello, I'm Michael Eisner, head of the Walt Disney Company. The Lion King is unique. Unlike our other Disney animated features, The Lion King is not based on any previously published fairy tale or literary work.
Whoa, what?
Well, to be fair, he said fairy tale or literary, although that's not true either. So basically, they're going to make the argument because Disney has some similar character designs and shots to Kimba the White Lion, it's somehow a ripoff, ignoring the fact that they have completely different premises and the fact that the actual inspiration for The Lion King is Shakespeare and the Bible, which they should be a fan of, but anyway, sub-IQ brainlets can't understand inspiration or homage. That's the thing. Like, they say ripoff, I mean, how?
Michael Eisner is totally lying through his teeth.
Wow, look at those characters are exactly the same.
Yeah, even the scenery is strikingly similar.
It's an original concept that was developed in the story department of Disney Animation.
Because the whole thing is that if this is your standard for a ripoff, then technically nothing can even be original. You know? And I mean, look, you could say all art is based off of other stuff, and I mean, that's true to an extent, but I mean, when you say ripoff, you know, that word means something specific.
And like most Disney animated features, it took years to create and refine.
Original? More like originally it was ripped off of this Japanese animation. Disney should be ashamed of itself. They've made billions off this story. Billions, with a B.
Oh, and I bet they're not paying royalty checks for that one either.
Even Warner Brothers did the same thing, stealing
Yeah, this is crazy.
the original story from Tezuka with their release of Iron Giant in 1999, which was basically a reboot of the 1963 cartoon Gigantor.
So not even just ripoff, now it's Iron Giant was a reboot of Gigantor? What? This is crazy. They have completely different premises, alright? Like, it's just insanity what they try and claim here. And actually, fun fact about Gigantor, but the main character is named Shota. And apparently the term Shotokan is derived from him. Which is pretty funny actually, but anyway, let's keep going.
It was basically a reboot of the 1963 cartoon Gigantor.
Originally, these animations appear to be pretty innocent cartoons.
It's a misconception that animated productions are only made for kids, but that exists because aren't most animes marketed to young kids?
Yeah, since they're
What? Okay, that's not even true.
all over Netflix and Cartoon Network, tons of kids are getting sucked in at an early age. When we went to Conuga and
Aren't all the anime on Cartoon Network? Isn't Toonami at like 2 a.m. or some shit?
interviewed fans about their favorite shows, this is what they said.
I love anime.
I love it. I mean, I can't watch.
Yeah, so now they're trying to say that it's animes for like young children, which I mean, some definitely aren't, but the ones they talk about, well, some are, but the ones they talk about aren't.
Enough of it.
So describe love, like you watch it every week?
Every day.
Oh, wow.
Even more telling was the age that they were first introduced to it.
So like, what was your first anime you watched?
Naruto.
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Wolf's Rain. Inuyasha. Every single one out there.
So how old were you when you got into it?
Oh, very young. My father was really into Dragon Ball, and he had like a bunch of VHS tapes, and actually still have the whole Frieza saga on VHS.
So how long
Interesting, I didn't say how old she actually was, so you just have to assume.
have you been into it?
About
a year. Okay. Do you mind me asking you how old you are? 11.
So 11, so he started watching at 10, and we don't hear what he actually watches though.
How old?
Of course, probably like 8.
Wow,
yeah.
nice.
It was on Adult Swim when I shouldn't have been up. And I watched it anyway.
So she was watching stuff that she shouldn't have been watching then. Like, because as said, a lot of this anime was on Adult Swim, Toonami.
Would your parents have condoned?
I mean,
Probably not, but here I am today, covered in blue paint.
How long have you been into anime, and like when did you first start getting into this?
My first anime was like in 5th grade. It was Attack on Titan, which was a mistake because I was a 5th grader, and that the mother getting the head torn off was a little much for me.
At this age, think of the shock and horror that something like this would happen to your mother.
My first anime was Attack on Titan.
You know, that's not really the fault of the shows, though. I mean, they all have appropriate age ratings on, say, Crunchyroll or Netflix.
He's the reason that I started watching it.
This guy,
He was like, hey, you should totally watch this. It's on Netflix. I think you like it. And from there, I started watching like Death Note, a bunch of other stuff like that.
Whoa, these guys are super young to be exposed to this kind of violence.
So you're into anime. What was your first
Let's see.
anime you ever watched?
My first anime was Heaven's Lost Property.
Did he just say Heaven's Lost Property?
And that just kickstarted that genre, and then I branched off.
Like how old were you when you watched?
Like 10, 11.
Seriously? Wow.
I would even say that
I mean, I watched a lot of stuff because I probably wasn't supposed to at my age. I mean, that's the whole thing. You can't blame the anime because the kids watch it when they're too young, you know? Like, that's just, you know, ridiculous because they put age ratings on this stuff. So, you know.
There's tons of animes that adults...
You know, it's like blaming Grand Theft Auto because kids play it. I mean, how's it Grand Theft Auto's fault? It's 17 plus.
Adults shouldn't watch either.
These cyborg chicks like fall from heaven, and it's a harem anime.
Yeah, and this one is super messed up. Not only is the anime extremely inappropriate with the images that are borderline pornographic, the story is also super blasphemous.
Yeah, so now they're doing the classic thing, complaining about the fan service and the, you know, Christian imagery or whatever. Classic.
So like, the protagonist has a bunch of cyborg chicks that can literally perform any task.
Interesting.
Giga-based.
And he's into panties.
I love panties with designs on them. I'm starting to get sick and tired of this foolishness. Sure, you got it.
So they're like sex robots or something?
Yeah, but
kind of.
They're programmed to do whatever their master wants them to do.
You know, another thing to keep in mind is that we don't know how many footage they got. So I guarantee they cherry-picked the interviews that either from the guys who, you know, they cherry-picked the interviews that best illustrate the point they're trying to make, you know?
So who's the master? I mean, describe him, what is it?
I don't know, he's like the tyrannical guy that lives upstairs.
He's like the tyrannical guy that lives upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, isn't the Bible technically pro-slavery? I don't know, that's a pretty complex theological discussion, I'm sure.
Interesting.
You'll remain my toy for as long as you live. What's wrong, good for nothing? Have you forgotten what comes next? This is the part where you beg, "Oh, please, master, please don't scrap me." You have your orders, Delta.
And so that got you into
Yeah, that shot me down that path, and then I branched off to different genres from there.
Yeah, those kids were like 14.
I know, right? It's so not okay or appropriate for such young kids to watch.
Oh my god.
Everybody we interviewed was super into anime. I mean, there wasn't even a
It's almost like they were at an anime convention or something.
Single person who wasn't into it. And when asked about the appropriateness of the violence or sexual content, they all had this to say.
But there's some anime like, I don't know, Kill La Kill and like Devil May Cry, like stuff like that, that it's not really meant for kids. but somehow kids are getting into it anyways.
Well, look, you can say that about everything, okay? I mean, you know, kids just watch stuff they're not supposed to.
Sort of like
it's not the fault of the media for existing.
Violent elements to it. Some people
Violent?
criticize
Wolf's Rain is extremely violent. It is very bloody. Especially the end of it is very bloody. Yeah, it's got a lot of fighting.
It seems like a lot of the anime now is like pretty hardcore.
Oh yes, a lot of old anime are as well, but it just, yeah. I think that older anime were very targeted towards adults, and now they're trying to target more towards children too, so yeah.
So how old were you when you saw the first anime? What was it?
I was approximately 8 years old when I watched Pokemon for the first time. And then I just gradually started with Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor, Sakura, all those.
It's wild that these kids get hooked because of Sailor Moon when it's full of extremely inappropriate and overly sexualized content.
So now we're getting to the Sailor Moon part. You know, okay, so you can't have anime with violence or sexual content at all, even when it's marketed towards adults or teenagers or whatever, because, oh, what if the kids watch it when they're not supposed to? You know, who cares about the parents or whatever? So, and, you know, that gets into another thing. Like, because, you know, a lot of Christians maybe see this stuff as, like, you know, especially extreme ones like these, see it as, like, inherently immoral. So, this kind of media shouldn't even exist at all. But, anyway, I hate fucking woke Western demographic. The Bible is also pro marriage with girls who reach the age of fertility/puberty, so not sure why so many trad cucks are so anti. That's the thing. Like, you know, the Virgin Mary, it's unknown how old she was when she had Jesus, but she was probably like 14. So, you know, the ideal woman, the mother of God, 14, 15 when she gave birth, you know, around that range. So, and want to know who else is 14? Megumin. So, you know.
I'd say it's not suitable for any audience, let alone children.
There it is, not suitable for any audience, just like I was saying.
It may seem cute and colorful, but its main protagonists, which, by the way, are supposed to be 14-year-olds, are often in compromising scenes with extreme nudity. Here in the United States, pedophilia is a big no, and it's a super sensitive topic.
Okay, so are they gonna go into the whole point about how anime is pedophilic or something? Fuck, we're at the lolly part.
That girl looks 7 years old.
Kawaii.
Way too early to be worried about boys falling in love with them.
Yeah, when the animes have...
Okay, so we're at the anti-lolly part now, of course.
Have like young kids in there, then you just automatically assume that it's for kids.
But because it's an animation...
Okay, that seems like a stretch. You can turn the Bible into anime and they complain it's too inappropriate. You know, that's the thing. The Bible actually has a lot of inappropriate content. In fact, you know, isn't there a part in Genesis where a guy's daughters have sex with him? I'm pretty sure that happens. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
The twisted...
Like, I'm not a Bible scholar, but you know.
Storylines usually fly under the radar, but kids pick up on these themes subconsciously.
And yet pedophilia
evidence, please.
Can be found across anime, as well as themes of incest, homosexuality, lesbianism, and transsexualism. And it gets...
Yeah, yet somehow Japan has those issues in much shorter supply.
It's even more weird when original Japanese anime is changed for US viewers. In Sailor Moon, Haruka and Michiru are lesbian lovers, but in the American version, they made them cousins.
Would you have preferred them to still be lesbian lovers? I mean, they had to censor it somehow. Take it the little ones of your enemies for thine self. Yeah.
He's exactly the type who's supposed to have a pure heart and powers.
We should make sure we watch him closely then.
Leave it to me, Cuz.
Okay.
But someone clearly didn't think this through because they left the scenes the same, only changing dialogue.
This is from the news. This is from the remake, which I don't think ever had the same censorship as the original. So, and this is what I mean when they also just have a lot of bad research.
leaving the impression that they are some sort of twisted cousin lovers. Usagi, or better known as Sailor
And also, I don't think anybody even watches the original dub anymore, so.
Moon is a middle schooler who falls in love with a college student. There's even a scene of the characters engaging in sex.
Oh.
Wait, what's going on?
This certainly is not
What's up with the random Mexican guy? What the hell?
kids material.
Maybe we should pause it.
I'll get it.
Hey, Fiesta Taco Delivery, where there's a party in every bag.
Did anybody order tacos?
Tacos? No, I didn't order it, but that should definitely be what we have for lunch.
Man, it looks like you guys having a watch party. That's kind of weird.
Hey, this is not one of those weird fetish parties, is it?
You know, this is funny because Mexicans love anime, but...
No, it's not. You see, we're...
Hey, look, I'm not judging, just dropping off some food. This is not 66 Broad Street, is it?
No, this is 144 Narrowway.
But can we put in an order?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll be back later.
Well, that...
What the fuck? What the hell?
It was kind of awkward, but you know what's crazy? There are tons of reaction videos on YouTube where people don't find this scene disturbing.
This isn't the only time that Usagi stayed overnight at her boyfriend's house.
Oh my gosh, the scandal!
We should probably go wake Chibiusa.
Let her sleep. Both of you can stay here tonight.
This particular storyline is even carried over into later seasons of the show. There is even a scene where Usagi's love interest, Mamoru, accidentally kisses an extremely young 5-year-old Sailor Chibi, which, how do you accidentally kiss a 5-year-old?
I mean, you just showed the scene. She, like, fell onto him or something. God damn.
Hey, what just happened here? You there! What do you think you're doing? Why are you hugging my Momo? Mama? Hey! Back off! Get away from my man!
Usagi becomes jealous when she thinks her boyfriend is falling in love with a grade school girl.
It seems
Okay, this...
like the only thing you care about lately is Chibiusa. Do you like her? Do you think she's that cute?
What? That's ridiculous. She's still in elementary school. She's just a little kid.
Oh, come on! Oh my god. These guys are, like, allergic to anything funny.
What if she's little? That doesn't matter in love.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Oh my god. I don't even think they understand the joke. The joke is that it's, like, ridiculous.
She's still another woman!
This twisted relationship is not the only young love to spring up. Naru, who is also aged 14, falls in love with Naphrite, who is 19.
This is disturbing. You can
Okay, you know, keep in mind, by the way, Sailor Moon was written by a woman for a female audience.
clearly see that he towers over the little girl.
Yeah.
Towers over her.
Hey, Gers, that's not something you want your kid exposed.
Okay, he's not even, is he even that tall, much taller than her?
Too.
Oh, just wait, it gets worse. Even the villains in the series are gender-bending teenagers.
Okay, isn't that based? I thought these guys, look, aren't these guys supposed to be anti-trans? They make the villains gender benders? I mean, come on, based, right? Let me explain. I understand what these people are going for, but keep in mind they are religious people. They do not serve the real God. They think they are serving God, but in reality, they do not. Look, maybe that's... I don't want to, like, get too sidetracked, but... Like, I'll say this much. I mean, these people are a pretty small minority. I don't really care that much anyway, because... You know, they're basically just, like shooting spitballs or something. What they do doesn't have that much of an effect, but... I mean, look, I'll say this much. There really isn't, like, a religion is really only the people, you know? So, because you sometimes hear Christians, they say that, like, oh, you know, all the churches are corrupt. I mean, maybe. But, you know, you don't represent Christianity, even if, you know, you think you have the correct interpretation. Maybe you do, right? You probably do. But you know, Christianity is a religion and the religion is the people, you know, but, you know, that's an aside. That's a complete aside. But yeah, I'm not saying these guys represent God or even all Christians or anything like that.
Sailor starlights are 3 sailor senshi from another star system looking for their missing princess, which lands them on Earth to find her. In their civilian forms, they are biological men who created a boy band called 3 Lights.
So it's kind of like the Spice Girls meets NSYNC?
Now that would be weird. They become female when they transform into their Sailor Senshi forms. Additionally, their leader is clearly in love with Sailor Moon, which is super confusing to the viewer because their genders constantly change.
Wow, so the villains are these gender-bending hermaphrodites, gays, and you're telling me, and you're complaining about this? I mean, come on. Reminds me of a Reddit post of a woman being jealous of her BF's little sister. I mean, to be fair, you probably shouldn't believe anything that's posted on Reddit. A lot of that shit is just made up, but, you know, it's... Look, it is funny, though. That's the thing. And, I mean, anime, it's all fake anyway, so...
Sounds like something from 2020, but it came out nearly 30 years ago.
You know, the Bible has a lot to say about...
You know, that's the interesting thing, okay? Like, anime had all these, you know, LGBT themes, LGBT in quotation marks, right? 30 years ago. And yet somehow Japan is the only country in the G7 without gay marriage or same-sex unions. Interesting how that works out. Yeah, you mean Sailor Moon didn't happen for real? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately, anime is still fake.
Sexual immorality. 1 Thessalonians 4:3-5 says, "It is God's will that you should be sanctified, that you should avoid sexual immorality, that each of you should learn to control your own body in a way that is holy and honorable, not in passionate lust like the pagans who do not know God."
Amen. Great text, Keith. Along with all the adult-themed relationships, there are a ton of questionable messages and occult references that are very problematic for any Christian. I'm talking about magic, sorcery,
Yeah, so this is the real wacky part.
spells, and reincarnation, and even underage drinking of alcohol.
It's very nice to make your acquaintance. That doesn't sound right. Glad to know you? Look at them. They're not having any trouble. The book says in a situation like this, have something to drink. Here goes.
How this getting you recommended? It didn't. I got tipped off by a commenter, and then I checked it out, and it was worse than I could have even imagined.
You know, the Bible...
Man. It's crazy. They also mentioned reincarnation. You know the Japanese believe in reincarnation? That's not that ridiculous. Like, at that point, you might as well just declare war on, like, a religious war on Japan. You know what I mean? I watched this anime called Shoujo Ramune, and it was too inappropriate for kids. Real. Real.
Bible is very specific not to have anything to do with witchcraft. In Deuteronomy 18:10-12 it states, "There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or useth divination, or an observer of times, or of an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination to the Lord. Because of these abominations, the Lord God doth drive them out from before thee."
Look, this is kind of how insane it gets. So if the Bible is against witchcraft, okay, fair enough. But are you going to extend that to, like, are you somehow going to extend that to just all supernatural stuff in fiction? Because that's just insane, you know?
When the Bible uses the word abomination, it literally means that God hates those things and that he would excommunicate the people if they engaged in such activities.
Do you guys notice the symbols on their forehead? Look like they are taken from astrology. Check this out.
Wow, it reminds me of when the book of Revelation is...
Yeah, so basically because they based the different Sailor Scouts off the planets, that is witchcraft, and it's satanic.
Describes God's people having a seal on their foreheads, and the wicked having a mark of the beast in their foreheads. Also,
no, it's the mark of the beast! Holy shit! The video is just boring, TBH. I kind of agree. When I actually turn into a real video, I'll have to cut out like a bunch of the fat, you know? But still.
So like the opening of the third eye in Eastern and New Age religions, there's a ton of demonic possession in this show.
At one point, Sailor Moon cries out to Saturn, which is completely pagan, and in some ancient writings is a reference to Satan.
Bro. The mark of the Mr. Beast!
The city. She's restoring it.
The character Tuxedo Mask blasphemously calls Sailor Moon the Messiah.
The Messiah.
Notice that
Oh my gosh.
there are 5 sailor girls, each named after different planets. The number 5 in the Wiccan religion represents the 5 points of the pentagram.
Hey, speaking of Wicca, these magical girls are even called guardians.
Uniting our hearts to fight as one is what makes us Sailor Guardians.
I guarantee they talk about anime demons in the other parts. Unfortunately, you can only watch this for free. And I really am not, I'm not going to spend $30 to buy this whole documentary. So, I don't know. If someone has like a re-upload on Rumble or something, I don't know, maybe share it in the comments of the stream, but otherwise, yeah, I can only talk about this first part.
Which is Wiccan lingo for the watchtowers that correspond to the 4 directions and the 4
I think I missed it. I think because they're called guardians, that also makes them witches for some reason.
elements. When the watchtowers are invoked, it symbolizes the connection to all things that exist, the 5th element being spirit. The series borrows concepts from the Bible, such as the Tree of Life, which is depicted in this show as a god-like being who was alone in the universe and then created humanoid people because it was lonely. The people eventually become evil and corrupt, resulting in the tree weakening and seeking help from Sailor Moon to regain power and be reborn.
Man, how twisted is that? God created humans. John 1:3 says, all things were made through him, and without him, nothing was made that was made. So if the tree created the humans, this is a blasphemous depiction of the true God, making it seem as he can be weakened by his own creation, and then he needs to seek help from the pagan witches in order.
Demon Slayer clearly worships demons. Yeah, well, look, the other guy, Piercing Heaven, said that Demon Slayer was, demonic because Nezuko isn't evil. Anyway, this is the type of stuff people were smoking when they didn't let their kids play Magic the Gathering. That's the whole thing. This is what goes on. This is the logic that Christians use to say that Pokemon is satanic.
Or just survive.
Another anime that sugarcoats the occult is Dragon Ball Z. Have you ever seen?
So this is Dragon Ball Z segment. Actually, I missed something. I don't know where it was. Yeah, I don't know where yeah, but it was... Whatever.
Black and white cartooning is the why we see Imagine.
Yeah, there it is. Look at the top left. Kiss Anime. They pirated the footage from Kiss Anime. Oh my god. I laughed so hard when I saw that. I forgot about it, but jeez. Man, God created humans, humans created anime, and thus God created anime. Facts. Yeah. And also, by the way, if they did pirate the anime, I mean, that would technically make the whole documentary illegal. Anyways, where the hell was this? I was here.
He needs to seek help from the pagan witches in order to survive.
Seen this one?
Oh yeah.
So, I guess we'll watch a little bit of the Dragon Ball Z part. I've never watched Dragon Ball in my life, so I don't really have much to say about it. And this part's 30 minutes, so we'll watch a little bit, then we'll move on to the next video, I think.
I remember watching that as a kid.
Yeah, a bunch of people we interviewed at the convention said they started watching anime because of that show.
This show's been around since the mid-90s, and there's a ton of episodes, somewhere in the range of 600 plus in total.
Wow, that is a serious investment of time if you watch all of those.
You're not kidding.
Right, and listen to what this particular fan, who has hundreds of thousands of subs, says about the show. Notice that these videos have millions of views. This just shows the impact this genre has on the public.
Toonami was nothing less than a revolutionary siren call for a generation generation of young anime fans, replacing the older, more traditional Power Zone slot with a block filled nearly entirely with Eastern properties, such as Gundam Wing, Outlaw Star, and Sailor Moon. Up until now, the only real way to consume these shows was through trading VHS tapes or downloading low-quality fan subs online. But now, anime was being broadcast directly into our living rooms, and it was mind-blowing. And at the center of this movement and Toonami's most popular show was Dragon Ball Z. Keep in mind that this was late 90s American television, where the most—
Yo, holy shit, this— do they have like a minute plus of this guy's clip? Anyway, what's going on? Could just be a YouTube video, clip B-roll, since a lot of them you can find on YouTube or pirated re-uploads of a clip. I don't know, maybe you can find it somewhere. Is that Super Eye Patch Wolf? Yeah, it was. Look, everything's satanic these days, but it's better not caring because people turn crazy like those people. I know by experience, I used to be one of those people that Pokemon was satanic until— I'll wait for you.
Popular animated shows were family-friendly titles like Doug and Rugrats. And by—
You know, actually, that creates another weird situation.
Popular animated shows were family-friendly titles like Doug and Rugrats.
Super, I can't finish what I was going to call him. So the game was racist because he saw Native Americans in it as an enemy. What? Shit. You know, it's funny how he mentions Rugrats. I don't know, maybe these guys think that those old 90s shows are whole. I doubt it. Rugrats in particular is like one of the most Jewish shows I've ever seen. Which, you know, that's a whole nother discussion, but it's actually true.
And by comparison, Dragon Ball Z was shocking. The show felt like a gateway into an entirely different world.
Wait.
Ball Z was shocking.
Shocking?
The show felt like a gateway into a—
Gateway? So now they're throwing up all these buzzwords.
Entirely different world. A violent and even
dark
place, one of insanely powerful villains that committed genocide with barely a second thought, and horrific alternate futures where our entire cast of heroes, as well as the vast majority of the human race, had been wiped out by malevolent psychopathic androids. It was a series where people could suffer grave bodily injury and heroes could die. It felt like a show you shouldn't be watching.
A show you shouldn't be— oh my gosh. Anyway, realized I was manipulated by my religious parents, so they are woke Christians. Lame. I mean, kinda. I don't know. A lot of these Christians are woke. Like, a lot of them are 100% feminist, but, you know, that's another thing. So a show you shouldn't be watching. I mean, this guy just sounds like he had an issue.
One that couldn't possibly be airing on children's television, and yet it was.
I don't know, was Toonami, like, supposed to be kids? I don't know, how, like, censored was it? Because the whole thing, like, a big difference between, you know, Western and, you know, Japanese animation is that, you know, American cartoons, it's all made for, you know, little kids, right? Or at least it can be watched by little kids. Like, Phineas and Ferb, you know, older kids can definitely enjoy it, or even teenagers, even adults, right? But, I mean, it's designed to be watchable by even, like, 4-year-olds. For anime, it's different. Like, you know, all the shonen stuff, the target audience is teenage boys. You know, so like 12 plus. So having more violence or whatever is, you know, completely justified.
You see, like Sailor Moon, there's a ton of highly inappropriate sexual content and dirty innuendos.
Wow, it's almost like these shows are made for teenage boys, and teenage boys have, like, go through puberty or something and have a sex drive. Crazy.
The scenes are so disturbing that on this fact alone, it should deter pretty much anyone.
What the fuck is going on? These people act like these things don't happen in reality. That's another thing too, you know? Like, some of the content they complain about isn't even done in a way to glorify it or anything.
Oh, okay, that's Weird?
There are so many of these extremely inappropriate scenes that it's crazy the American public doesn't ban it due to its promotion of pedophilia. When
Oh my, so yeah, there it is. Jeez. You know, the funny thing is that, you know, all this stuff when it originally came to America was heavily censored. You know, we only get, you know, stuff uncensored now because it's, you know, through Netflix and Crunchyroll and stuff, and it's marketed to a different audience.
Searching for the dragon,
you know, than it was originally. I mean, are these people going to talk about 4Kids? That's how a lot of people were watching anime.
Balls, the young Goku is seen sneaking a peek at Bulma's underwear. Also, really disturbing is this scene of Master Roshi asking to see under Bulma's dress.
A peek at your underwear.
Dirty old man! Well, if being made into an embarrassing object is what it takes to get my wish, then okay!
Woman moment.
I've duped them into thinking this bothers me, and I get an easy Dragon Ball! Heck, underwear is not much different from a bathing suit! Ta-da! Oh, the shade!
Oh wow, when she lifted up her dress, she didn't even have underwear on. And
yeah, that's the joke, man.
this is rated Y7 for kids? Her dress, she didn't even have underwear on. And this is rated...
Yeah, the censored version rated for kids.
Y7 for kids?
Eesh, mercy.
But even outside of those grotesque scenes, there is...
So are they mad at these shows? So are they mad at these because they were shows designed with kids in mind, or that no good Christian should watch them? It's both. So they're claiming that these shows are made for little kids, which they aren't. They're made for, you know, older kids, teenagers usually. And then they're also just saying that this stuff is inherently a moral show, so you shouldn't be watching it no matter what.
Dark, spiritual undertones that need to be exposed. Magic is a common tool used throughout the series, and witchcraft and...
So magic is wrong. It's wrong to have magic in your fantasy show. Alright, this is the thing. This is how, you know, crazy it gets.
Spiritualism is looked upon favorably.
The rivers, the trees, the wind, all the living things in nature. Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
You know, do these guys not know? Magic is okay only when Jesus does it, I guess, I suppose. You know, do these guys not know that Japan isn't Christian? You know, they have a completely different religious foundation. Obviously, they're gonna have a different view of spirituality.
I almost have enough. The power is coming to me. I can feel all of it completely surrounding me. Just a little bit more. Here it comes. All right. Feel it getting closer now. There, it's done. If this won't stop him, then nothing will.
The Bible strictly forbids any such practices. In Colossians 2:8 it says, "See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ."
For example, the witch character Baba is referred to as the fortune teller Baba. Baba is an insulting word in Japanese that means old hag or old witch.
And Baba uses a crystal ball to see into the past, present, and future.
So we're going after fortune tellers now?
Something the Bible condemns as an abomination to God. Like when King Saul summoned the late Samuel through a medium, in reality, he was speaking to a demon.
Yeah, although I've seen a couple episodes, I still don't understand what this anime is really about.
You know, you probably shouldn't admit that. You know, it's like, oh, here's our documentary. Our research was so thorough. Oh, wait, actually, I don't even know what the show's about. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, we hope that you're liking this documentary that we've made. Took us about a year to make it. There was a lot of effort that went documentary that we've
Yo, second coming shirt, what?
Made. Took us about a year to make it. There was a lot of effort that went into this, so I hope you're definitely getting a blessing out of this. And we wanted to put this part up so that you guys would get a little taste of actually what the whole documentary is about. It's a 4-part series. It's about 3 hours.
There it is, $30.
Plus.
3 hours
worth of material, and we've tried to put little parts and bits on YouTube, and it actually keeps getting taken down.
That's right. We actually did a live about.
It's probably getting taken down for copyright based on the one clip they already had to edit for copyright.
This because we wanted to show you guys what all was in this, and there was one clip. It was maybe about 2 minutes long from Full.
Oh yeah, so they just upload a completely unedited 2-minute clip. All right. Yeah, no wonder it's getting taken down.
Metal Alchemist that we got from YouTube, but YouTube copyright struck it, took it down. Usually we can fight copyrights because of fair use. That fair use law is written so that we can comment and react and things like that, but nope, they won't even allow it up. So if you're out there and you're saying, why don't you just put it up on YouTube?
Jesus turned the tables of people like this. Yeah, based.
They won't let us. So we are dependent on you guys. We appreciate all your support. That we've put a year's worth of work into this 3-hour documentary in 4 parts. Covers a lot.
Yeah, there's a verse in the Bible. Better not knowing the food you're buying was sacrificed by the fake gods than knowing that you are participating in eating it.
A lot of anime such as...
Well, we've got...
Wait, let's look at these thumbnails. So, I guess in this one they talk about Evangelion and Full Metal Alchemist. You're telling me Evangelion has Christian references and imagery? You're telling me this for the first time? Inuyasha and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think that's 7 Deadly Sins and Death Note. So, they seem like they go over quite a bit. I don't know. If I can find a pirated version, I'll maybe go over other parts, but... Gotta see them talk about Ava. Yeah, how come they put that in part 2? I mean, come on, that's easily an opener. Watching earlier in the stream and you mentioned SSM based as fuck. Yeah, thanks.
Covers a lot of anime such as...
Well, we've got 7 Deadly Sins, we've got Death Note, we've got
Neon Genesis,
Inuyasha.
You know, what the Are you really gonna tear into Inuyasha? I mean, that just takes place in medieval Japan. Are you gonna blame the Japanese for you know, their culture before Christianity was even introduced to them? I mean, come on. My Exosister deck did lead me to God.
Got
Neon Genesis,
Inuyasha.
Man, there's a lot of
yeah, there's a lot of them. We basically wanted to pick the top ones that everybody was watching, and of course there's tons more because as we've shown this to certain people, they've said, oh, well, what about this anime and this anime? So hopefully what you're getting out of this is the principle of the matter.
You should be seeing a pattern.
Yeah, if you see a pattern across the board of constantly attacking spiritual things, twisting biblical concepts, then there must be a reason why they're doing this.
That's right, I just saw a comment today.
Yes, all the mangaka and anime directors, they're secretly Satanists. You heard it here first, folks.
Hey, where somebody said, actually...
It's not just they're, like, not at all Christian and they borrow some aesthetics, you know, just because it's cool or whatever.
I haven't watched anime in a long time, and it's hard to find good anime, and I was like, you know, that's a good principle. If it's hard to find good, it's best just to stay away from it altogether. So we hope you guys are enjoying...
Man, hear that, piercing heaven? Man.
There are links to the description if you want to buy this on DVD and put it on your bookshelf, or if you want just the digital copy, we have both links. You can get digital download.
Oh, you can buy the episodes individually, I guess. Wait. Oh, I guess that's to rent. I guess it's the same price anyway.
And the DVD, and we love you and we thank you for all your support, and we'll let you get back to...
Well, I guess by attacking spiritualism, they mean attacking Christian spiritualism or just Christianity in general. The Japanese love Jesus. That's why they made all their main characters just like him. You know, facts. The grave of Jesus Christ is in Japan. If you don't know about that, it's true. You can look it up. Japan is one of the least religious countries. Kinda. It depends how you define religious, because you could say most Japanese people are, like, super casually religious, because they still do engage in, like, you know, certain religious ceremonies. They'll go to, like, shrines or temples and pray and stuff. I mean, I would say something like North Korea would probably be. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I don't know. It kind of depends.
The show.
Let me see if I can explain. You see, the mission of the characters is to collect 7 Dragon Balls that are hidden all over the earth.
They're collecting balls, gay confirmed.
In order to have 2 wishes granted by the Dragon Lord. The theme song repeatedly chants the phrase,
The book of Revelation called Satan a dragon. So basically they are asking Satan to get them.
Are you kidding me? No way they fucking said that. What? What? No! Oh, they're not even the same kind of dragon. It was an Eastern dragon. Look, I mean, I don't know about this one, but I'm pretty sure like Chinese dragons probably predate the Bible. Holy crap. They celebrate religion but don't believe in them. You also do have some of your random Japanese Christians. I mean, yeah, but they're 1% of the population, so very rare. This smacks more in the vein of Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know. Why Dagona's anime exists largely in a Japanese post-World War II context. During the Meiji Restoration, they reinvigorated Shinto, in part as a reaction to the perceived outside influence of even Buddhism. Insofar as anime use Western imagery, it's through a mirror darkly of the Japanese mind. I mean, that's the whole thing. The Japanese borrow a lot of foreign aesthetics, like Christian aesthetics, but it's all done. It's always just to tell Japanese stories.
The story centers around a young alien named Son Goku, who was sent down to Earth as a baby. In the Dragon Ball anime, they are 3 supreme beings called the Super Saiyan Gods from Universe 7 that send the baby Goku down to Earth to destroy it.
Isn't that kind of like the story of God sending Jesus down to Earth?
I think it's like actually the opposite.
Yeah, pretty similar, but the twist is instead of being sent to Earth to save it, he's sent to destroy it.
Okay, so now they're saying that Goku's the Antichrist?
We send adult fighters to planets with strong inhabitants, but to planets with weaklings like Earth, one of our babies is sufficient to carry out the order. Kakarot was sent to clean up this planet, but he obviously forgot his mission.
Kakarot, what have you been doing here all these years? Your mission was to terminate all life on this planet. Why haven't you carried it out?
Goku is an angry child who has an accident while growing up, causing him to change his motives from being the destroyer of Earth into the savior of Earth. There's an
You know, I'm not an expert in Dragon Ball Z, but isn't it based off of Journey to the West or some like other Chinese story or something? I don't know.
Episode titled The Father of Goku, and a prophecy was given to Goku's father, Bardock, that he will have a son, and he will be a savior of the Earth.
Take heart, Bardock. A savior has been born. One who has the power to save the innocent from people like Frieza. And you.
Yeah, Dragon Ball anyway. It is, and you'd think they'd mention that. You know, that's the thing. They examine it from, like, this Christian perspective, and it just leads to, you know, a completely ridiculous conclusion.
Someone else who wanted to become more powerful than 3 supreme beings. That sounds a bit like Satan?
It says here on the DBZ or Dragon Ball Z wiki that Goku
And they're grabbing shit from the Dragon Ball Z wiki.
Wants to become the most powerful Super Saiyan God, which can be obtained through a ritual involving 6 righteous Saiyans or special divine training.
5 Saiyans with righteous hearts must join hands and instill their inner light into another. With his friend's energy flowing through him, this Saiyan shall then take the form of a Super Saiyan God.
Focus on channeling your inner light into Dad. From your heart.
They are treating fiction as reality in many such cases. Wait. So, oh my god, she has a demon on her shirt! Bro. There are no 3 supreme beings who sent Goku to Earth. What the heck? Why are they referencing Super as if it didn't retcon some shit? I'll have to look into Dragon Ball if I actually cover this because, like I said, I don't know much about it. But I mean, you know, that's another thing. They jump around a lot. Like with the Sailor Moon segment, they're talking about, you know, the remake and then, you know, like they completely mix up the versions and the sequels and they all combine it. Even when it doesn't make any sense. It's reminding me of the Joseph Fence reference meme. Any mention of anything is a reference to the devil.
That's right, Michelle. Now you're seeing who this really is. In the end, Goku takes the war back to heaven and destroys it. There's even a similar story of a tree in a garden, just like Sailor Moon, twisting the concept of the Tree of Life. It's called the Tree of Might. Sometimes
isn't the Tree of Life originally a pagan concept or something? I'll have to double check that.
Referred to as the Tree of Death. But once again, you can see the inversion of the truth. When one eats it, they gain more power. Only Kai, who are the kings of the universe, and eternal dragons are meant to eat the fruits.
You mean I'm not allowed to eat any of that?
You got that right, buddy. That tree there, it belongs to the great King Yama, and only he can eat the fruit.
Aw, come on! Just one piece!
In the Bible, we see
One Piece mentioned.
an account of a serpent-like being promising ultimate power.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, World Tree, Yggdrasil. Which is probably what they are actually getting the idea from.
By eating the fruit of the Tree of Knowledge, not the Tree of Life. It's interesting that they get their power from the dragon, who is called the Eternal Dragon God, or Dragon Lord. The owner of the tree is King Yama.
Here it says that Yama's occupation is a judge. Dragon Ball Z has a lot of Gnostic imagery, flipping the idea what's good and what's evil. Yama is actually a deity in the Buddhist faith known as the King of Hell.
Yo, you're telling me that, you know, Japan, a Japanese guy, you know, Japan, the Buddhist, you know, the historically Buddhist country has a character based off a Buddhist deity? You're telling me this for the first time?
Yama is said to judge the dead and is the one who decides if the soul goes to heaven or hell. Seems pretty Gnostic if you ask me.
It sure does. And so on the surface, Goku may seem like a Christ type, but when you really compare him with the Bible, he actually shares more characteristics with Lucifer. Goku is really a type of Satan, which is made to appear like a savior.
Goku is Satan! Of
the people. Son Goku's character is based on the Chinese mythological character called the Monkey King.
Okay, so they mention this.
Who in the myth gets invited to heaven and believes he will receive an honorable place as one of the gods, but is instead made the protector of the horses, essentially a stable boy, which is the lowest job in heaven. He rebels and proclaims himself the great sage, or heaven's equal.
Which so happens.
Okay, so they mention that. So are you going to blame, you know, the East for having their own, like, religious traditions and literature and stuff? I remember all the time Satan died to save the world, just like Goku. Facts.
To be the similar story of Lucifer, who wanted to be honored as a god and eventually rebelled against heaven. He was cast down to earth, the lowest place in the universe.
Yes, he sure was. And Goku's father-in-law is known as the Ox Satan. His alias is the King of Demons.
Okay, I'd have to get into another thing, but whatever.
In other words, his father-in-law is the ruler of demons. He lives on Fire Mountain, which is located in the Diablo Desert.
That's interesting. Here also says Goku-san is married to the daughter of Mr. Satan. They had a baby who they named Pan.
Of course they did.
Wait, what's wrong with the baby being named Pan?
Allow me to introduce the greatest woman in the world, my wife Adele. And this is...
Oh my god! No fucking way! Oh my god!
This is her dad and infamous father-in-law.
They're saying Vidal is the devil because it's an anagram. Would it even be spelt the same in Japanese? Would it even be an anagram in Japanese?
And this cutie patootie is our daughter, Say hi, Pan.
Pan is the Greek god.
Oh my god.
Where we get our modern depiction of what the devil supposedly looks like. You know, with horns and goat feet, and he causes panic.
They're not even hiding whose side.
Pan is a word for bread, and bread is the body of Christ, so something demon.
Goku is on. Goku's team is called the Dragon Team. The character Mr. Satan, who is also part of the Dragon Team, is adored by all and sometimes referred to as the savior of Earth and the universe.
He yelled at him? A pretty brazen move, yelling at our planet's savior.
This kind of reinforces the idea that Satan is the good guy and will be the savior of Earth.
Wow, that's pretty blatant. And just so there's no mistaking exactly whose side this character truly represents, Mr. Satan's daughter, with one of Goku's sons, drives a car with Satan and 666 written on the side of
What?
What number did you just say?
666. After Goku dies and is resurrected, he stands before King Yema, who is the god that judges whether the soul goes to heaven or hell.
Yeah, King Yema looks more like Satan than the god of heaven.
Interesting, since it's the god of heaven who is the one that judges the soul whether it is fit for heaven or hell.
All right, knock it off out there, you bodiless tramp. Single file. It's not too late to be sent down below, you know.
Yeah, you can clearly see this flipped upside down world when Goku leaves Yema and wants to travel to a particular part of heaven. He must travel on Snake Way to get there.
Yeah, look at how the road is windy, where the Bible describes the path to heaven as the straight and narrow.
Oh my god.
In Matthew 7:14 it says, "Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leads to life, and few there be that find it."
Wait, so do many of Dragon Ball's villains have common attributes of God?
Actually, they do. For example, the villain King Cold has a title called the King of the Universe. Frieza, his son, is like the Prince of the Universe, much like Jesus is referred to as the Prince.
Okay, so are they trying to say that Frieza's Jesus? Okay, that seems like a pretty massive stretch.
King Cold has two sons, making his family somewhat of a kind of trinity.
Man, whenever there's three of something, it's obviously a reference to the Holy Trinity. It couldn't be anything else. A road called Snake Way is shaped like a snake. Man.
This is my son. I'm retiring effective immediately. From this moment on, Frieza will be your commander. In other words, the Cold Force has now become the Frieza Force.
There's a prophecy that King Cold's son will die. Frieza dies multiple times.
Say what you want, but God did intercede in the Revenge of Cooler OST. That's why it's good to know a lot about a particular show so you can easily spot bullshit from those who don't know shit. I mean, look, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm not very familiar with Dragon Ball, so I'm not the guy to cover this, but you know.
And each time,
I'll probably only talk about like the first half. Maybe I'll pick out some stuff from, you know, the Dragon Ball. I mean, I can't cover the whole video, obviously, because otherwise it would be like 2 hours long, but you know.
He's resurrected.
Welcome back, Lord Frieza.
Don't dream of resurrecting again.
That's kind of like the prophecy that was told to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, which talks about how Jesus will ultimately bruise and crush the head of Satan. In Genesis 3:15 it says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel."
And that prophecy was visualized in the fight where Frieza...
There are 5 of these guys, they spread lies, and they're quoting scripture to do so. Sounds pretty satanic to me. Yeah, exactly.
Frieza put his foot upon Goku's head, as well as his son's. Frieza has many forms throughout the series, but it is the same person. During the fight with Frieza, he asks Goku who he is, and he says he is the savior of the world.
What are you?
I am the hope of the universe. I am the answer to all living things that cry out for peace. I am protector of the innocent. I am the light in the darkness. I am truth. Allied to good, nightmare to you!
Goku saying that he is the truth is like him saying he is like Jesus, because John 14:6 says,
you know, another thing to keep in mind is that they're using the dubs. So especially with a line like that, What does the original Japanese say? You'd have to examine it, right? To really make a judgment.
Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. Even saying that he is the answer to peace is a lie because he's born to fight, not bring peace.
Well, look, didn't Jesus say to sell your cloak and buy a sword? All right, peace through strength.
Exactly, Scotty. You see, Goku kills his innocent grandfather, but feels no remorse. He says he will ask for forgiveness, but he never does. It is shown that King Cold is only bent on destruction. This leaves the viewer with a twisted understanding of God and makes him seem like an evil ruler. Even his appearance is with large horns on his head and a red cape. King Cold sits on his throne as he and his son approach Earth to destroy it. The imagery of the second coming is unmistakable.
Yeah, the Bible does foretell of a time that God will destroy planet
What?
Earth, but it's only after he comes again and takes the righteous to heaven. We know only God has the ability to destroy the whole earth. For example, the flood. Satan, even though he wishes he could, does not have this ability. It says in 2 Peter 3:10, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat."
So what? They're basically trying to say because there's an end of the world thing in Dragon Ball, that's another biblical reference, you know? A lot of religions have end of the world prophecies, you know, and it's just a very common thing in fiction because there's this thing called, you know, it creates stakes, which are kind of important, especially when you're making an action show.
"And the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. God will cleanse the earth from wickedness and bring in an everlasting righteousness."
According to ScreenRant.com, many fans cite the intended end of Dragon Ball as the conclusion to the Frieza saga, with Goku fulfilling the Super Saiyan prophecy and finally defeating the villain responsible for destroying his home planet.
Of course, this moment ended up being the beginning of a whole new chapter for Dragon Ball, rather than the ending.
This Gateway anime is full of satanic imagery. And what's with the
Gateway anime? It's like how they talk about, some people talk about drugs, right? How they say like, what's the word they say, like weed's a gateway drug or something?
sigil of Lucifer in Vegeta's forehead?
What? Oh my, whatever.
Sigil of what?
Oh, this is like the sigil of Lucifer, so are you a Satanist or anything contributing the Satan pagan?
Well, according to the website SymbolDictionary.com, the sigil of Lucifer means the seal of Satan. Used in conjunction with other symbols, its original purpose of the sigil was to aid in a visual invocation of the angel Lucifer.
Demonic possession is prevalent throughout many of these episodes.
I'm everywhere you are now. Inside you. You're where? You would probably call me a parasite, but it's far more complicated than that. You see, I also control you. You're my puppet. You became a truffle without ever knowing a thing. You think you can control me, you disgusting little... Oh, I do control you. Go ahead, try to move your body.
And whenever a character's possessed, we see that sigil in their forehead.
Look, that isn't even the same sign, so... People get possessed, it's treated as a bad thing, they still complain. You know, that's another thing. You know, it's like, oh, so... Are you not allowed to depict bad stuff at all, then?
You may have invaded my mind and my body, but there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps. His pride!
Since when can the possessed say no to the possessor?
Just remember, his purpose is to steal energy from Majin Buu, so why not let him have his way for now?
When Vegeta's fighting Goku, we see that Vegeta has the sigil. He refers to himself as the prodigal prince of bloodshed.
Because I wanted him to reawaken the evil in my heart. I wanted him to return me to the way I was before!
This is kind of imagery like a reference to Jesus, who shed his blood for humanity.
Oh my gosh.
So it's kind of a twist that Vegeta...
That is so... Okay, it's... I'm beating a dead horse, but this is another crazy stretch.
Vegeta ultimately wants to return to the way that he was before, a cold-blooded Saiyan.
Yeah, so this leaves the viewer with the impression that the biblical Jesus...
It's making me want to watch Dragon Ball Z again. Honestly, Dragon Ball Z seems kind of hype. I might have to give it a try myself.
...is really evil. Vegeta even sacrifices himself.
Trunks, Bulma, I do this for you. And yes, even for you, Kakarot.
You know, like, if a character sacrificing themselves makes them a Jesus parallel or whatever, I mean, that seems like... So is a character not allowed to sacrifice themselves in fiction or something?
And so, one of the Earth's greatest warriors has vanished in a blinding flash of light, having made the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of his loved ones.
Despite all that evil, the power of love saved his soul. Now let's hear why that's evil. Yeah, exactly.
His name was Vegeta, a proud Saiyan prince.
But instead of going to heaven, he goes to hell, an inversion of Jesus. The character, Piccolo, says Vegeta is going to lay down his own life to save the people.
So, in other words, do exactly what Jesus did.
Right, Kendi. This kind of twists the truth about Jesus. You see that the Bible says that Jesus was never selfish. He was not prideful, or he didn't have any evil character traits at all.
And that's how he's described in 1 Peter 2:22. It says it like this: he committed no sin, neither was deceit found in his mouth.
So putting this seal on the villain's forehead makes this sealing appear to be evil. The Bible describes a seal that will be placed on the foreheads of God's true followers. Revelation 9:4 speaks about the sealing just before the end of the world. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any green plant or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads.
Like the villains King Cold and Frieza, Vegeta is part of a trinity as well.
There it is, another trinity. You can never have a trinity, otherwise it's a Bible allegory.
The Saiyans. The father's name is King Vegeta, and his son's name is Prince Vegeta.
The almighty Prince Vegeta!
During one of the fights with Goku, we see one of the Saiyans creating life out of the dust of the ground. But as you can see, the life that springs forth is something evil, reinforcing the Gnostic view that God is evil. There's a lot of imagery of
what?
Creation, such as when Vegeta creates the moon, a burst of light comes forth from it. When Krillin was about to kill Vegeta, Goku tells him in his mind, "Stop. We need to show mercy."
He's pure evil. No, listen.
You're right, actually, they did only name 2.
Just let him go, Krillin. Show him what it means to be merciful.
This makes you think that Goku is the merciful one, and Vegeta is pure evil.
There is yet
You know, weren't they saying that Goku was also a Jesus parallel? So now Vegeta's also... Okay, this is getting complicated. So are they both Jesus parallels then?
Another trinity in this saga, Bibbidi Bobbidi and Boo.
Bibbidi Bobbidi and who?
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Well, Bibbidi
This is the worst banter I've ever heard.
Bobbidi Boo is a magic spell cast in Cinderella.
Oh yeah.
More witchcraft, by the way.
You're right. It does have something to do with magic and sorcery. There are many parallels
with sorcery
with the Godhead in these three as well. As you can see, there's the sigil in their foreheads and on their clothing. And they are all from a planet called Planet Alpha, which is in Universe 7, and is shown to exist in the heavens. God calls himself the Alpha and the Omega.
Wait. Isn't the number 7 often a number associated with God?
It sure is. And Bobbidi, Bibbidi's son, has an...
You know, this is reminding me about how, like, the ADL has, like, 20 different numbers from 1 to 100 on their hate speech dictionary.
Episode where he opens a so-called seal. He opens the seal and frees Boo in an attempt to destroy the people of Earth.
In the Bible, Jesus is described in the book of Revelation as the only one worthy of opening the seals. Revelation 5:5 says, "And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof. When these seals are opened, it will result in the deaths of the wicked. This happens just prior to Jesus' second coming.
It's interesting that Bibbidi, the father figure, is the one who created the seal, and his son Bobbidi is the one who breaks the seal, much like God created the seal and Jesus the Lamb is the one who opens it.
The biblical imagery is interwoven all throughout this series. When almost...
Oh shoot, I unsealed a jar of pickles. Am I Jesus now? Yeah, I mean, if you ever unseal something in fiction, obviously a biblical reference. I feel so sorry for people who fall for this. I mean... It's kind of hard to imagine even falling for this. It's just so out there.
Everyone in the Earth dies. Vegeta ends up resurrecting everyone except the really evil people.
I have 2 wishes I want to make. First,
these people are using the Bible wrong. The Bible's supposed to be applied to real-life human beings, not in fiction. I mean, yeah, probably.
I want the planet Earth to be restored to its original state. And second, I want all of the people who were killed since the morning of the World Martial Arts Tournament to be brought back to life. Do you understand?
Dende, I'm putting my faith in Vegeta's plan, and I'd like for you to do the same, okay?
Of course, Goku.
Arise, Purunga!
Okay, it shall be done.
Yeah, the devil quotes the Bible to deceive others. Just saying. Indeed.
The Earth has been restored to its rightful place. What is your next wish?
Please use your power to restore the lives of all those who died on Earth since the wizard Bobbidi arrived there. Except for the most evil ones.
Dende! Hurry it up! We haven't got all day, you know!
Yeah, we hear you. Purunga's doing all the work.
Your wish has been granted. The people of Earth have been restored to their home.
Surprised they didn't mention the OK sign the dragon made.
Vegeta! We did it! All the people are back! They're alive!
What the heck?
How are they gonna spin this?
I'm alive! I'll be darned!
Yep. We're alive, all right. Look, same old traffic jam.
We're alive! Woohoo! Hallelujah! All right, yeah!
Yes, Mommy, we're saved!
Once again, a parallel to Jesus' resurrecting the righteous at his second coming. He also wants the world to go back to the way it originally was. After Satan is destroyed, Jesus will create a new earth for us to live in.
The Dragon Team characters thrive off of fighting. Even when presented with the idea that they could use the Dragon Balls to stop the apocalypse, Team Z outright refuses to stop fighting. They believe their whole existence is for the single purpose of fighting. This is a Luciferian mindset. When Lucifer, or
What? It is? What?
better known as Satan, was cast out of heaven, he waged a ceaseless war in which the whole world has been engaged in ever since.
Now that's a great comparison, Mikey, because the Bible says in Revelation 12:7-9, it says, "Now war arose in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, and the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him." Just like Goku was cast down to earth.
Look, are they saying that it's somehow like satanic because the creators, well, the characters in the show want to... Look, the whole thing is that they're mortals, though. So if they're mortals, then they live in the physical world, which is imperfect. So, and just fighting is a natural part of life. Like, I would say it's more satanic to try and create heaven on earth, but, you know, whatever.
Even when the prophecies in the Bible foretell the ending of this conflict, Satan and his angels refuse to stop fighting.
That's why, in the end of the story, Goku brings the war to heaven. Goku is a representation of Satan. That ancient...
So Goku was Jesus or Antichrist, and now he's whatever.
serpent,
He's Satan, I guess.
The great dragon.
Oh wow, the DBC fandom even says that Goku's son lives in Satan City.
Satan City? Wow.
Dragon Ball Z teaches an inverted gospel, which makes Satan the hero while demonizing the Trinity.
Hey, that was Mr. Satan. Huh? Mom, it's Mr. Satan. I'd recognize that voice anywhere.
Hey, you're right. Wow.
Everyone, it's him, Mr. Satan. Raise your hands. It's him, the
That's it, man. Don't hold back. Give it everything you got.
Unbelievable!
The world belongs to the devil, is decreed by God. The point of life is to live for God while tempted by evil, so you're shown is worthy to get into heaven. I mean, yeah, that's how I basically understand it, too.
Using his special powers, the world champion is speaking to the entire planet from a battle that we can't even see! This is fantastic! Satan! 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 Yeah!
At last, thanks to Mr. Satan, the long-awaited energy has finally arrived from Earth.
Would you really expect anything else from the Dragon team?
Speaking of inverted gospel, you guys ever heard about the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Oh my... Okay, we're gonna get a taste.
Hey, isn't Neon Genesis Greek for... is it New Beginning?
And Evangelion means gospel.
Right, it's about a new beginning of the gospel.
Yeah, I bet I can guess what kind of twisted message they're going to interweave into this story.
Oh my god.
Sounds super intriguing. I'd love to hear what you have on that.
This one's pretty messed up, but I can't get into it right now. I've got a podcast I'm doing tonight with a ministry called School for Prophets, and I can't be late.
Oh man, you can't leave us like that. Give us a little sneak peek.
All right, but just 2 minutes, then I gotta head.
Yo, getting the dang Jesus reference, Shinji. Okay, I've at, you know, whatever. Let's see.
Yeah, that'll give your kids some nightmares.
Same time tomorrow?
See ya.
Bye.
Oh, that's it?
Wow, this show is truly messed up.
Wow, to be continued. Guess that's it. Quite the doozy. Let's go back. I forget where it was. I want to see where they talk about the other shows. It was like somewhere around here. Anyway, I know they said they're going to talk about Death Note, which is kind of interesting because if you're going to talk about Death Note, isn't Light supposed to be the Antichrist? I mean, he's kind of represented that way in the show, but the thing is that he's the villain. So what are they going to glean from that? Like the guy who does all the, you know, satanic, anti-Christian stuff, tries to become God, that's the villain. So how are they going to spin that one? Anyway, is that last chick high? I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, whatever. I don't remember. It was like somewhere, but Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. Well, that's about it. I don't know. I'll see if I can find the other parts because I definitely think it'd be interesting for the video at least, but I'm not gonna buy it. That's for sure. Yeah, L is Jesus and Satan kills Jesus, so it's satanic. Jeez. Anyways, I think we'll cover this one too. The dark origins of Nintendo. So not only is anime satanic, but so are Nintendo games. Let's see. Yeah, this one's not too long. I'm gonna increase the speed on this one, actually, just so we can get through it a little faster.
We live in a world that's seeking a distraction, a diversion from the everyday activities of life. Reality seems broken to us, and our lives...
Is that Vegas? Nintendo is pretty evil, to be fair. Yeah, maybe these days. And before they reference Link praying at a church, oh yeah, it's in there. It's in there.
...lack depth. And we're all seeking something beyond ourselves. Some seek excitement, some seek adventure.
The Neth Knows Part 4 do they have it on their YouTube? Anime Exposed Part 4. Oh, they do have it! Okay, we have to... I'll watch that later. We'll watch it. Oh, they do have the other parts. I didn't realize. Hell, okay, thanks. I'll look at all that later. Yeah. We'll watch the rest on, like a weekend stream or something, because I was gonna end it after this one, so... But thanks for that, SMD 1876. I'll check that out.
Or thrills. But what is the need for this distraction? It is because we are burdened. We are burdened with boredom, with guilt, fear, doubt, poverty, and hunger. We seek rest from these burdens, and so we escape into any other world we can. Drugs, money, violence, crime, music, movies, games.
Weird how they're conflating drugs and violence with movies and video games.
Anything to make us forget our present pain. But the world...
Look, okay, the only acceptable hobby you can have as a Christian is Bible study. Alright?
The world has a real problem. Not only is it filled with guilt, fear, and doubt, and boredom, but there are people that want to make money off of the fact that you are not in control. Your pain, your bad health. For your boredom, they want to sell you video games. But beneath the noise and clamor, a still, small voice. A voice that says, "Come. Come unto me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." But the one solution to our problems becomes lost, and the voice of a loving God gets drowned out in the voice of people who poorly misrepresent him, and in the voice of those who would take his place. Could media, even interactive media, be allowing false gods and the occult into our homes? Gods...
Okay. So now they're just throwing up Japanese statues? Come on, man. Like, this is just so dishonest. Christians make the anti-escapism mistake all the time, and they wonder why they've been losing the culture war for 40 years. Yeah, no kidding. Work to home to church. That is the triangle, nothing else. You know, why would you work? You're producing something that isn't for God. I mean, the thing that's crazy is I could understand devoting your life 100% to God. You know, I would even say that's a noble pursuit. But the whole thing is that that's not what most people want to do. And the people who do want to do that, you know, they'll become nuns or, you know, monks or priests or whatever, you know, but that's not, you know, the kind of life for, you know, a lay person, right? Third world countries have some of the most religious people, so are they not escaping into their book to cope with their horrendous situations? Like, where does this make sense? Yeah.
To replace the one true God? How about video games? Could they be involved in this as well?
Controller level 1.
Video games. A multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry that offer photorealistic worlds you can interact with and manipulate. You can be the hero and save the world. Or, in some games, you can be the villain and destroy it. And although Nintendo did not invent the video game, that's where we'll begin. Video games did not come onto the scene until the 1960s, but Nintendo is actually older than video games. They actually got their start making gambling cards fashioned after 15th century European gambling cards. But how would European cards ever find their way to Japan? Well, in the 15th century, Portugal was the native home of a popular style of playing cards, dragon cards. These were forerunners to our modern playing card deck, and they have the same foundation as the tarot cards, with the suits, swords, cups, clubs, and coins. These are the same suits that eventually became the suits in our modern playing cards: spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. Often these cards were used in gambling, not much unlike our modern playing card deck.
So are just playing cards in general, you know, degenerate or whatever? I mean, that's a stretch.
Sir Francis Xavier, a Portuguese priest for the Catholic Church, inadvertently is responsible for bringing gambling to Japan.
Okay, I highly doubt that. There's no way the Japanese weren't gambling before some random European guy showed up. I think gambling's one of the most universal parts of the human experience.
In August of 1549, Sir Francis Xavier came as a missionary to Kagoshima, Japan, in the name of a...
Yeah, that's the thing. Japan isn't a Christian country, so it's so weird how they examine it from that kind of lens.
Group for which he was a co-founder, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits. The men on his ship brought the Portuguese dragon cards along with them on the voyage, and were all too eager to teach the native Japanese not only how to play, but how to gamble as well. As gambling spread, the Japanese government outlawed the act of private gambling. Thus, the people had to change their cards if they were going to keep them, and so they came up with the whimsical and colorful flower designs of the Hanafuda cards.
Hanafuda. Yeah, can't you at least pronounce it right?
340 years later, Nintendo began to mass-produce these same cards, and these became Nintendo's main source of income for almost 100 years. Nintendo literally owes their business to none other than Sir Francis Xavier, the same man that suggested there should be an Inquisition. If this Jesuit priest had not accidentally brought gambling to Japan, Nintendo could never have existed. On September 23rd, 1889, Fusajiro
I mean, look, you know, by that logic, you could say like a bunch of stuff. You could basically say any country's bad because their history, you know, something bad happened in their history, or any company, or, you know, whatever.
Yamauchi founded a small company called Nintendo Kopai, or the Nintendo Playing Card Company. Nintendo is a Japanese word that could be roughly translated, it comes from heaven. Nintendo's first venture was making handmade Hanafuda cards, but over time, this expanded into a line of vacuum cleaners, even into a taxicab service.
Yes, vacuum cleaners and taxi cabs, very degenerate businesses, as we all know.
Of hotel chain, and toys, similar to this Love Tester from 1978. But their success didn't begin until Shigeru Miyamoto, an engineer by trade, made his first game for Nintendo in...
Wait.
But their success didn't begin until Shigeru Miyamoto, an engineer by trade...
What do you mean engineer by trade? He was a designer. There's no way these guys are that stupid. Shigeru Miyamoto was brought on to design games specifically. He went to college for design. What do you mean engine? He didn't know jack about programming.
Made his first game for Nintendo in the 1970s, Donkey Kong.
So keep this in mind, Donkey Kong 79.
It's kind of like filmmaking, where there's certain rules of editing and composition, and you have to go back to the early filmmakers, like D.W. Griffith or later Orson Welles, to find the guys who really made those rules that we all follow today. In video games, the guy who's responsible for all this is Shigeru Miyamoto.
Shigeru Miyamoto was hired by Nintendo in 1977. They hired him to design the artwork that goes on the side of game cabinets.
Yeah, there it is, designer.
Yeah, he worked as a staff artist. He's intellectually curious, always seeing what was going on. And then in 1979, he actually had his first shot at designing a game.
At this point, Nintendo's trying to break into America, and so they try to do this with a game called Radar Scope. Now, it didn't go over so well, so they ended up having...
It's funny how they're just ripping someone else's documentary instead of actually talking about it themselves.
Like a few thousand of these cabinets left.
So, you know, in desperation, they looked at this, you know, young artist and said, hey, you know what, you want to make a game? We got all these Radar Scope machines. See what you can do. We got nothing else to lose.
Take all these Radar Scope parts, we got the cabinets, the joysticks, the screens, just reprogram them, make your own game, let's see what happens.
So, Miyamoto gets to work, and out comes Donkey Kong.
Not only was Donkey Kong a runaway success, it also introduced to the world Nintendo's first superstar character, Super Mario.
Well, I mean, I don't think he was Super Mario till a little later.
Mario!
As popularity of Nintendo increased, it spread all across America. Now, when Nintendo releases a new game, people of all ages, from all over the world, are all too eager to run to the store to buy it. What began as nothing more than a hobby has become a worldwide obsession.
Yo, they're just playing the whole commercial. Honestly, this commercial's like awesome. Alright, good. Is this supposed to make me not like Nintendo? Because this is awesome. And are they all running to the store to buy the new Mario or something? Ah, I'm buying the new Nintendo. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so funny. Obsession is not Christian. Join the music. I was about to say the commercials.
The handmade Hanafuda cards made by Nintendo can be traced back to the Dragon cards from Portugal, which can in turn be traced back to a very early form of the tarot card deck.
Yeah, they don't make commercials like they used to.
Called by names like the Devil's Bible and the Devil's Picture Book.
Oh shit.
Nintendo can be traced back to the Dragon cards from Portugal, which can in turn be traced back to a very early form of the tarot card deck.
So tarot cards are like Satanic or something? I think I missed the memo on that.
Called by names like the Devil's Bible and the Devil's Picture Book, tarot cards are common among occultists and spiritualists. Tarot cards are most famous for fortune telling, and what we currently call the modern playing deck of cards actually is derived from these cards. As stated before, common playing cards have 4 suits: spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds, and all of these suits can be found in an earlier form in the tarot card deck. These are cups, wands, pentacles, and swords, which are also a modified form of the suits found in the Dragon cards deck.
Yeah, no
Although
kidding.
playing cards have gained wide acceptance as an innocent game, they can still be used as tools of divination, as seen in this Michael Vubel painting, The Fortune Teller. And not only...
You know, do we really have to purity spiral over divination? I mean, look, it's mostly just bullshit that women believe in, you know? Like, who really cares? Wait, did they tag the Japanese Nintendo channel in their title? Oh, they did! What? At Nintendo America, at Nintendo. Oh my god. My cousin is scared to play with cards because... Oh my, that's crazy. Man, remember, every time you're playing Go Fish as a kid, okay, you're actually worshipping Satan.
Only are modern playing cards usable for divination. Even the cards Nintendo makes, the Hanafuda cards, can be used for divination as well.
Were a gift to me by my cousin. They are from Korea, although their origins are Japanese. These little tiny cards come in a nice hard case. They are made of hard plastic, which is quite different to me than using tarot, which are typically made of paper.
Literally, why would they care about the video? Yeah. It's, imagine, I mean, they probably never even saw it.
So, the Hanafuda cards are...
I mean, talk about ankle biting, right?
Most popularly used as a gambling game, but they can also be used for divination or fortune telling.
Deuteronomy 18:10-12 is very clear on this issue. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For all who do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. You see...
You know, why do they have all these pop-ups all the time? Okay, I don't want to buy... I guess this is a part of another documentary series. No thanks.
It's quite
man.
easy to take something occult like the tarot cards, and over time modify them until they gain acceptance. Is it possible that modern games could have links to the occult as well? Perhaps just like the...
Holy shit, look at all these ads in the video!
Tarot cards. Something occult is slipping into our homes, completely unnoticed. It was so easy for the tarot cards to find entrance into our homes, from an occult deck of cards to the modern day playing deck cards. Would you really be surprised if the same thing didn't happen with the digital games?
Yo, imagine you're like hanging out with one of these guys, okay? And you gotta like wait around for an hour and you're like, hey, I got a deck of cards, want to play a game? And he's like, no, that's devil worship. Like, jeez.
Our time. History repeats itself. That which has been is what will be. That which has been done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:9. We should not be surprised to find that the exact same thing that happened in the past will happen again in the future. So does Nintendo have a policy on religion? Well, in the 90s, Nintendo would censor games based on this list of 10 rules.
By the way, this is all for, this is the American guidelines, by the way. I think they had different ones for Japan. We thought card games equal Satan's, only problem if money is involved, but nope. I mean, look, I'll say this much. I mean, I think gambling's immoral. I'll give them that. But I mean, just saying all cards are bad, it's pretty insane. So anyways, keep this in mind, though.
It's the closest thing that can be found to a policy on religion. Rule number 7 is very clear about what Nintendo games could portray. It says, must not reflect ethnic, religious, nationalistic, or sexual stereotypes of language. This includes symbols that are related to any type of racial, religious, nationalistic, or ethnic groups such as crosses, pentagrams, God, gods, Satan, hell, Buddha.
So basically, Nintendo had a policy back in the NES days where no religious symbols were allowed. Okay, this was only for America, though, because in Japan they would throw it in there because people didn't really care as much.
Nintendo was very clear that they did not want to insult any religious group, and they were very careful about what they would allow into any Nintendo games.
And that's bad. Why?
So here's an example of Nintendo censorship. Can you guess what's been removed? The Japanese original of this game actually had a cross on the sign for the hospital. And this Disney game has been censored by having the crosses removed from the coffins. Notice this church steeple.
By the way, this is Earthbound Beginnings, which was never actually released in America, so it's really weird how they're using this as an example.
In the Japanese original, there used to be a cross. And in this church interior, the stained glass window also used to be a cross. But Nintendo had...
Yeah, that's another thing. The red cross was probably just a... that probably was more of like a copy trademark thing, because you're not really supposed to use it.
Wasn't always followed by their own rules. You'd think from this that Nintendo had...
Yeah, and it's like, oh, Nintendo's not following their own rules. That's because the rules were for America. Japan had different rules.
Had no intention of including religion in their games at all. But then one day, that changed forever.
Yeah, RuneScape had to remove their red crosses too because of legal bullshit. Yeah, that's probably the real reason.
Now you're playing with power.
In 1986, Nintendo unveiled The Legend of Zelda, which took these same rules and threw them out the window.
They say that, but...
Notice that the main character has a cross on his shield similar to a medieval crusader. Why was this cross not censored?
And they bring this up as if it's not based how Link was based off a crusader or whatever.
Perhaps Nintendo was not afraid of religious content after all.
Yeah, it's because it was for Japan, and they didn't have the same rules.
In fact, the religious content of this game doesn't end there.
You know, did they remove the crosses from the American, official art? I'd have to look that up.
Notice that among the hero's loot, there is a yellow book.
A book.
What is that book? The game's instruction booklet actually has the answer. It says, this is the wand that Wizrobe uses. Wave it to let loose magic spells. What's more, if Link picks up the magic book and learns some new spells, he can chant some fiery spells and send out flames. As you can see, in English, this book is titled The Magic Book, but the original Japanese title was The Bible. But could The Legend of Zelda...
Yeah, so this is an example of them censoring a game to remove the religious references.
...be subtly attempting to reduce the Bible to an occult book of magic?
Look, they did it in Japan because they just have a different perspective on these things, and they removed it for America because they didn't want to offend anybody like you.
The official Nintendo statement is that The Legend of Zelda is based on fantasy, and that all of the religious content in the game has no basis in reality. But if that's true, why does official Nintendo artwork depict the main character praying before Jesus Christ on a crucifix?
Because look, short answer, they thought it was cool. Alright, and honestly, not gonna lie, it is pretty cool. I mean, people who say they are Christian are either religious, very dumb, very exaggerated, or want to ban everything. Man.
Perhaps there's more beneath the surface in Nintendo's games than they let on. Nintendo is in a large regard one of the most influential game companies in the world. While there are other companies like Sony...
Imagine having to tell people it's fantasy and not real. I mean, look, in the case of Zelda, okay, so you're telling me the main character is designed after a crusader, prays to Jesus, alright, and he defeats like a half-man, half-beast evil abomination? You're telling me that's actually satanic somehow? Telling me that's not based? Also, there's the whatever.
And Microsoft. Even these companies got their start by copying the successes of Nintendo. In the investigation of the influences these games have on the person playing them, it's very valuable to have insider information on the inspiration behind the games. Very rarely will Nintendo ever discuss direct inspiration for their games, but
I mean, they have talked about it. You know, Miyamoto talked about how he was inspired by wanting to explore caves. You know, they've talked about their game design processes sometimes.
One instance, an interview on Nintendo's own website, Wii.com.
I mean, I think Eiji Aonuma said that Twilight Princess, the wolf form, was based off of a dream he had. So there's examples.
Shigeru Miyamoto decided to explain the genesis of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. Having rigorously analyzed what exactly made people want to play one more time, I sketched out the idea for 5 games. At this point, Nintendo was the licensee for Popeye. I asked if I could make a game using Popeye. The basic concept of Popeye is that there is the hero and his rival who he manages to turn the tables on with the aid of spinach. It's identical to Pac-Man.
Get ready for this.
This basically boils down to Mario being a replacement for Popeye. Mario was intended to be Popeye at one point, but it just didn't work out for whatever reason. Mario is Popeye and Pac-Man, but repackaged. This chart should illustrate this clearly. In each of these 3 stories, there is a hero, a female lead character, and a weapon that the hero uses to destroy the enemy. Popeye saves olive oil with spinach from Bluto. This spinach gives Popeye superhuman or almost godlike strength. In fact, it seems that there's nothing Popeye can't do when he eats spinach.
Okay, so...
Pac-Man also follows the same pattern.
No, it doesn't, but let's
And somehow,
see.
by eating power pellets, he is given almost superhuman or godlike strength.
Superhuman? He's a circle thing, by the way.
To defeat ghosts. Once again, a godlike power. Mario saves a princess.
So, first off with Pac-Man, he doesn't save Miss Pac-Man. In fact, Miss Pac-Man wasn't even created by by Namco. Miss Pac-Man was created by MIT dropouts in America. Oh, you think?
With a mushroom from a dragon.
Also, he's talking about this. Mario might have been based off of Popeye, but Peach wasn't based off of, what is this, olive oil? I don't know the Popeye girl. But Pauline was the one based off of the Popeye girl. Alright? And Donkey Kong was based after Bluto. Because, you know, Donkey Kong was the first Mario game, so he's just completely wrong about this.
Now notice that all of these weapons are essentially something that A, gives the hero superhuman or godlike qualities, and B, are items...
He's conflating separate influences as if they're identical, yeah. And he also just grabs Pac-Man out of nowhere. I guess he just assumes that, you know, Donkey Kong was heavily influenced by Pac-Man, even though, like, Miyamoto never said that.
That the character must put within themselves. In this case, all of them are food. This is food that makes you into a god.
Also, power pellet, I would disagree that that's food.
But wasn't there...
So basically, he's saying that this is some... So they're saying this stuff... Whatever, let's
In this
continue.
case, all of them are food. This is food that makes you into a god. But wasn't there a place in the Bible where a serpent said that if someone ate a piece of fruit, they would be like God? Yes, that's exactly what happened. In Genesis, the deceiving serpent told Eve if she ate from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, she would become like God. Because Eve doubted God, humanity had to be separated from their home in Eden and from the direct presence of God. Because they fell for his trick, evil came upon this world, all because he convinced Eve to eat a piece of fruit, and that fruit could transform her into a god. But these stories come from the angle that eating fruit that turns you into a god is good, just like Gnosticism, which teaches that the serpent saved us from God with an apple.
Yeah. What the hell? Yeah, Mario is Satan. You know, like, Mario is Satan confirmed. And I thought game theories, Mario is communist theory was insane. Like, what? Okay, let's just go this, like, line by line. First off... Wait, also, he's just... How is the serpent the hero of the story? Wouldn't it be more like... This doesn't even make sense, because the serpent provides the weapon. You know, and then Adam and Eve would technically be the hero, and there isn't really a woman parallel in this. And I guess you could, whatever. I'm not religious. In fact, I'm atheist, but I heard that the forbidden fruit is not even specified. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's not. It's not even supposed to be an apple, but I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? But anyways, let's talk about Popeye, okay? The whole reason why Popeye eats spinach to get strong is because it was pro-vegetable propaganda for kids. All they wanted was for kids to eat their vegetables. And this guy's trying to say that Popeye is freaking trying to become... It's insanity. And, you know, same thing with Pac-Man, you know. Miss Pac-Man wasn't even created by the original developers. And then the power pellet, is that even food? I mean, Pac-Man is a circle. And then, you know, this one... Like, what? It's just crazy. And I mean, look, these The whole reason why the power pellet and the super mushroom exist is because it's for gameplay reasons, okay? It makes a fun game for there to be power-ups. And they don't even really give you I mean, all the super mushroom does in Mario is it makes Mario bigger and he can jump higher, and I think run faster. And I guess he can get the fire flower. I guess that's a superhuman ability. But then he loses it if he gets hit, so that doesn't sound very godlike. Look, and I mean, the whole setup of Mario is just that it's, he's trying to save Princess Peach. Shit. Like, man. Anyways, though, that's about it for today, though. Yeah, we're already over 2 hours. I wanted to talk about, like, I want to do the Disney adult thing, but I don't know, I gotta log off soon anyway. So I think we're gonna end the stream today. Yeah, thank you, SMD. Did you ask if it's AI voice? It's from 7 years ago, so it's not. Thank you, SMD, for showing me these extra episodes of Anime Exposed. I'll definitely check them out. I'm not sure if I'll watch the whole documentary. If I do watch the whole documentary, that's going to be a massive video. I think I might cover part 1 and then cover the other parts. I don't know. I don't want to... A lot of Christians like this guy love to conflate play with worship, similar to how feminists see play as reinforcing patriarchy. Yeah, another thing to keep in mind. I don't know. I don't want to... Like I said, I'm going to make a video about this Anime Exposed and maybe this Dark Origins of Nintendo. I guess this is another documentary they want you to buy. I'll see if I can find the other part somewhere. Hopefully you can find these ones for free too. But I don't know. I don't want my whole channel to become like anti-Christian or something. Even though I do think these guys are retarded and they're worth making a video about. You know, it is just kind of low-hanging fruit. But anyways, we'll see. Anime Exposed. Like, part 2 is... I think it was somewhere down here. Whatever, I'll find it. I'll probably make a video. But yeah, it's going to take a while to get through. Because there's like 3 hours of content. Anyways, though, I mean, pretty fun stream. But, yeah. Anyway, anything else in chat? Doesn't look like it. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's about it. Yeah, good night, SMD. Thank you guys all for watching. Have yourself a good night. This has been Kai Marin, and goodbye.